Everyone, I am Ankita Majumdar. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Today I am going to teach you class 7th chapter 6th towns, traders and craft person. So let's start. During medieval period, travelers visited towns of their choice. There were different kinds of towns: a temple town, an administrative center, a commercial town, or a port town. There were many towns combined with several functions. They were administrative centers, temple towns, as well as center of commercial activities and craft production. The town dwellers mainly consisted of nobles, officials, merchants, and artisans. The merchants were quite prosperous through they led simple lives. Administrative centers are Thanjavur is in the Kaveri Delta was a early Chola capital from the 9th to 11th century. The river Kaveri flows near this beautiful town. The Kaveri Delta is innumerable channels of Kaveri, linked by irrigation canals, some of them used for at least 10 centuries. In the town, there is a massive temple built by King Rajaraja Chola. The bells of the Rajarajeshwara temple can be heard there. The town's people are all praised for its architect. Okay, after that, there is a massive Shivlinga inside the temple. Beside the temple, there are places with mandapas. Okay, kings hold court in this mandapas, issuing orders for their subordinates. There are also place for the army. The town is lively with markets selling grain, spices, cloth, and jewelry. Water supply for the town comes from well and tanks. Festivals also they were making. Okay, they are busy in producing clothes for flag to be used in the temple festival, fine cottons for the king and nobility, and coarse cotton for the masses. Some distance away, sthaptis or sculptures are making bronze idols and tall ornaments, bells, metal lamps, etc. Temple town and pilgrimage center. Thanjavur as a temple town represents a very important pattern of urbanization. Urbanization is the process by which large number of people become permanently concentrated in relatively small areas forming cities. Temple played central role in the economy and society. Rulers built temples to demonstrate their devotion to various deities. Deities means God. They also gifted land and money to temples to carry out elaborate rituals, feed pilgrimage and priests and celebrate festivals. Pilgrims gave donation to the temple. The great temple were wealthy institutions. Temples were controlled by committees whose membership was usually a hereditary privilege. Priests and temple servants under a high priest, okay, power and influence. The great walled temple complexes of South India were small cities containing the central and numerous lesser shrines, bathing tanks, administrative offices, homes of the temple's employees, workshops, bazaars, and public buildings of many kinds. Directly and indirectly, they played an important part in the economy, as they were among the largest employers and greatest landowners in their areas. They also performed valuable social function because they served as schools, dispensaries, poorhouses, banks, and concert halls. Temples authorities used their wealth to finance trade and banking. Gradually, a large number of priests, workers, artisans, traders, etc., settled near the temple to cater to its need and those of the pilgrims. Thus grew temple towns. Town emerged around temples such as those of places and Somnath in Gujarat. Other important temple towns were Kanchipuram and Madurai in Tamil Nadu and Tirupati in Andhra Pradesh. Pilgrimage center like Vrindavan, Uttar Pradesh. At so many places, it provides an excellent example of religious coexistence. Khwaja Muhyiddin Chishti, the celebrated Sufi saint who settled there in the 12th century, attracted devotees from all creeds. Pushkar Lake near Ajmer attracted pilgrims from ancient times. A network of small towns. The Indian subcontinent was dotted with several small towns from the 8th century onwards. Those probably emerged from large villages. The small towns usually had a mandapika mandi to which nearby villagers brought their produce to sell. They also had market street called hut. Okay. Next, there were streets for different kinds of artisans such as potters, pressers, sugar makers, toddy makers, smiths, stone masons, etc. Some traders lived in the town and others traveled from town to town. Many came to these towns to buy local articles and sell products of distant places like horses, salt, saffron, betel nut, and spices like pepper. There were fortified places built by Samanta or in later times zamindars in or near these towns. Taxes were taken by traders and artisans. Local temples were given the right to collect these taxes. These rights were recorded in inscriptions that still survive. Traders, big and small. There were many kinds of traders, including the Banjara. Several traders, especially horse traders, formed associations with headmen who negotiated on their behalf with warriors who bought horses. They had to pass through many kingdoms and forests for trading activity. They usually traveled in caravans and formed guilds to protect their interests. There were several such guilds in South India from the 8th century onwards. Crafts in town. Bidar is a city of northeastern part of Karnataka state. The city contains some of the finest examples of Muslim architecture. Bidar was important under the medieval Hindu dynasties. Later it began and became an independent sultanate under the Barid Shahi dynasty in 1531. A closer look Hampi, Masulipatam and Surat. Hampi, founded in 1336, is a village in northern Karnataka on the bank of river Tungabhadra. It is located within the ruins of the Vijayanagara, the former capital Vijayanagara Empire. Hampi fell into ruin following the defeat of Vijayanagara in 1565 by the Deccani Sultans. The rulers of Golconda, Bijapur, Ahmednagar, Berar, and Bidar. The village is an important religious center, housing the Virupaksha temple. This place also contains several other monuments belonging to the old city. Hampi is called the land of surprise because it was a showpiece of imperial magnificence. A gateway to the West Surat. Surat in Gujarat is near the mouth of Tripti River and the Gulf of Cambay. It is believed to have been founded by a Brahman named Gopi who built the Gopi tank in 1516 and named the area Surajpur and Suryapur. The name of the city became Surat in 1520. It was plundered by Muslims in the 12th and 15th century. Surat thereafter became the Emporium of India. exporting cloth and gold. It was the gateway for the trade with West Asia, the Gulf of Hormuz. Surat has also been called the gate to Mecca because many pilgrim ships set sail from here. Its major industries were textile manufacture and shipbuilding. The city was cosmopolitan and people of all caste and creed lived there. In the 17th century, the Portuguese, Dutch, and English had their factories and warehouses at Surat. The British established their first Indian factory at Surat in 1612, according to the English Chronicle, who wrote an account of the port in 1689. However, the city gradually declined towards the end of 17th century. This was because of many factories, the loss of markets and productivity because of the decline of the Mughal Empire, control of the sea routes by the Portuguese, and competition from Bombay, where the English East India Company shifted its headquarters in 1668. Today, Surat is a bustling commercial center. It is known for the ancient art of manufacturing fine muslin. Surat's cotton silks, brocades, and objects of gold and silver have become famous. Fishing in troubled waters, Masulipattnam. The town of Masulipattnam or Machilipatnam, literally fish port town, lay on the delta of the Krishna River. Masulipattnam was the first British trading settlement in 1611 on the Bay of Bengal. From 1686 to 1759, the city was held by the French and Dutch until it was finally ceded to the British, who captured the city and fought from the French in 1759. In the 17th century, Machilipatnam was a center of intense activity. Both the Dutch and English East India companies attempted to control Machilipatnam as it became the most important port on the Andhra coast. The fort at Machilipatnam was built by the Dutch. Royal monopolies were imposed on the sale of textiles, spices, and other items by Qutub Sahani, ruler of Golconda. Okay, new traders and town. Spices and textiles became popular both in Europe and West Asia during the 16th and 17th century. The English, Dutch, and French formed East India companies in order to expand their commercial activities in the East. Primarily great Indian traders like Molla Abdul Ghaffar and Virji Vora owned a large number of ships competed with them. However, the European companies used their naval power to gain control of the sea trade and forced Indian traders to work as their agents. Finally, the English emerged as the most successful commercial and political power subcontinent. The shoot in demand for goods like textile led to a great expansion of the crafts of spinning, weaving, bleaching, dyeing, etc. Indian textile designs become increasingly refined. However, this period also saw the decline of the independence of craftspersons. Now they worked on a system of advances. They woven cloth as per the promises made to European agents. Weavers had no liberty to sell their own cloth or weaving their own patterns. They had to produce the designs supplied to them by the company agents. The present day nodal city Bombay, Calcutta, and Madras rose to prominence in the 18th century. Merchants and artisans were moved into the black town established by the European companies within these new cities. This caused major changes in crafts and commerce. The blacks or native traders of craftspersons were confined here while the white rulers occupied the superior residence of Fort St. George in Madras or Fort St. William in Calcutta. Understood, students? So here we have completed chapter 6, Town Traders and Craft Person. Okay, next chapter I will explain in my next video. Your homework is you have to complete your notes and learn everything. Write everything in neat and clean handwriting. I will send the PDF and you have to complete your notes and learn it. Okay, that's all. Thank you.